You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show, the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers, so let's get started with, I don't know if I played this or if I just clicked on it a second ago, so let's try it, see if it sounds familiar. Green Bay 10.
Hey, Ryan, it's Green Bay 10 calling you. I just listened to your podcast on the offensive line. You know, at the time Jordan's been under pressure. I'm wondering if there's some way, I hate to have to say this, but we've got to replace this offensive line. I mean, so is there a way to look at how long are we stuck with this offensive line? Because the things I've been reading is these guys are all signed up for a long period of time, and we're not going to get out of this offensive line anytime soon. And you literally brought up what I've been thinking is we got to start drafting offensive linemen next year. So how long would it take to try to turn over, let's say, the interior of the offensive line, center and two guards? I mean, we got to start looking at this because that's the obvious problem. So, anyways, listen to your podcast on percent unloved, under pressure, and holy cow, 40 percentages?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think watching the games, nobody's really seeing how like a sieve, our offensive line is playing lately. So that's really what people need to start focusing in on, people. Start watching our offensive line execute, and you'll see where the problems are coming from. All right, Ryan, if you could look into when can we turn this line over, what would it take, contracts and all that. Love to hear that from you on the podcast. All right, bye.
Well, here's what I would say. First of all, I mean, just let me start with this. Think how good our offense could be if our offensive line was better. You know, one of the main topics of discussion is Matthew Golden and why he isn't getting more opportunities. And I think you could probably list several different reasons that are coming into play. One is Matt LaFleur. One is Jordan Love. One is Matthew Golden. One is all the other guys on the team. It's all kind of coming together. But, you know, like I said, I wanted to go back and look at Matthew Golden and all the different routes he ran. The very first one, and I quit after the first one. Like I said, I realized how burnt out I was. That's when I took a day off. But I just looked at the first play, and now I'm getting all excited. I want to go watch it. But the very first play, first of all, I can almost guarantee the play is designed for Golden. So kind of eliminates the Matt LaFleur issue, at least on this play. Because you some of this stuff I would say is intuitive, even though I'm not, you know, there are levels to that game, and I will fully admit that I'm on the bottom rung of that whole thing. But I do think a lot of it is kind of intuitive. So, for example, when you see everything being pulled to the left, and specifically Romeo Doubs kind of running up and a post across the face of the safety that would be helping in Matthew Golden to pull him away. And then you see Golden isolated and open down the field. My immediate thought is that's the intention. And it worked. The issue is the ball was out immediately to our tight end. Now, I think in that case it was more of a Jordan Love issue. I do think he had time, but the point is, as a thought exercise, if Golden is running less of the quick type routes, you know, he's not going to be your check down very often. He's not going to be your curl route guy, although I think he could and should be. He's very good at that, not only in his suddenness, but his ability to play back to the ball and his great hands and physical. I think he'd be great at that. Generally, he's running a little bit deeper routes. Well, if the time to get through your progression to that, and you can say, well, we'll make him earlier in your progression, that's not really the point, though. The point is he doesn't have time to run his route before Jordan has to get the ball out of his hands. And that's not to say every play, but just as a thought experiment, if he had full time to get through his entire drop and progression tree and all that stuff, how many more times do you think Matthew Golden would have been the target? And then of the times Matthew Golden was the target, how many times, because I don't think he's been targeted accurately once. That's obviously not true, but how many times has it been over or underthrown? And some of that is Jordan just not throwing good balls to a guy who they're probably not on the same page in terms of his speed yet. But also, it's not easy when you're rushed into one of those throws. The idea being just how much more impactful Golden would be if our offensive line was better, how much better overall our offense would be, because that also applies to Christian Watson. It applies to Romeo and everybody else too when they're running, when the play is designed to a guy 15 yards down the field, but we can't get there because Jordan has to get the ball out of his hand quickly. And again, everybody's mad at Matt LaFleur. Oh, why would you call that play? He didn't call that play, dude. That's not what he called. He called it to go to the open guy down the field, but Jordan was scrambling for his life away from where that thing happened, and he had to throw the ball away or throw a check down or whatever. It's not what was called. It's what was left over after a catastrophic performance by our offensive line. As far as your specific question, without kind of delving into that, and we will probably over time start looking at the contracts. Again, this is becoming more and more of a thing for different reasons. One of them is 2026 panic, which, precedes or follows 2025, 2024, 2023, 2022 panic. Without delving into that, though, what I would say is I'm less concerned about, well, let me start with this. First of all, ideally, the best thing you do is you just improve what you have. This kind of goes in line with a lot of other stuff that I've been talking about in terms of you can't run away from everything. At some point, you have to plant your feet and say, no, we just have to be better. We can't just stop running the ball. We have to execute better. Some of the guys on the team are better than what they're putting on the field. First of all, it's hard to be mad at Zach Tom because he's been hurt a lot, but he's not playing his best. Elton Jenkins is not playing his best. Rashid is not playing his best. He's not terribly off the mark, but he's if we could just get these guys back to what they have been, that's already an improvement. So number one is we can't run away from everything. Guys have to be better, and if we can't make them better, then we need to find coaches that can. But acknowledging that we're going to need some improvements over time, I guess I would just point out that if we had the option to throw everybody out, we shouldn't, because you can't replace people that fast. You're lucky if you can find one stud a year, if that's through the draft or free agency. And yeah, I doubt we're going to have the ability to go real big in free agency next year. We'll see, when all this, the dust is settled. But the odds that there's going to be a stud offensive lineman available, and we're going to have the resources and desire to go get them, and we're going to end up getting them, pretty low. So we're talking about the draft again, which we haven't been very successful recently drafting offensive linemen. Again, if we draft like 3 offensive linemen in the draft, which is a lot, you hope you end up with 1 good offensive lineman. So it's, to me, less about how quickly can we get out of these contracts and more about how quickly can we replace these people. And the answer is not very quickly, which is why, again, we have to come back to we have to find a way to improve what we have. We have to develop Morgan. And my number one thing with Morgan, maybe he's just a bust. We have to find out what he's good at and put him there. If he's not a guard, if he's a left tackle, I don't care. Make him a backup left tackle and go from there. But I would rather him be a good football player with no position than a bust first-round pick. We seem to be doing that with Belton, right? I would love to try him at guard. They're like, nope, he's a right tackle. That's it. That's what he is. That's what he'll always be. And he's not going to be anything. All right, fine. That's fine. Then I guess in the second round, we drafted a backup right tackle. It's not my favorite thing. I'm guessing that's not what Gutekunst had in mind when they drafted him, but it's what the coaches have determined, and whatever. Just make him good at it. Make him good at it. If that's what you've determined, fine, but you need to do everything you can to make him good at it. They need to do that with Morgan. And I understand we can't out of necessity now because we don't have the bodies, but make that a thing. So it's a multi-layer We have to focus on improvement. We have to focus on bringing in new talent. And I would personally focus less on getting rid of guys and more on trying to retain as best as you can. Because I think, over time, that the pull of needing to get rid of people is going to be strong enough to slowly filter people out at a rate that is probably as fast as you're going to be able to replace them anyways. So I'm not worried about being stuck in contracts. I'm more worried about, are we going to be able to get the talent level across the 5 players up in whatever means possible? I mean, if we draft a guy and he's better than Elton and we still have him under contract, fine. I don't give a crap. Put him there. Put him, and then put Elton back at guard. You know, like we're good. Like I'm not desperate to get rid of anybody. They can try a different position. They can sit on the bench. We just need 5 better offensive linemen, and we'll worry about getting rid of them sooner than later. That'll take care of itself.
Hey, how you doing, Ryan? It's Nico. It's Monday morning on my way to work.
Put it.
I just had to say, hearing Chris from Alabama and his reactions on that touchdown catch and then the 2-point conversion, that made my day. I tell you what, you know, it's definitely nice to hear people call in happy, you know.
Feels good.
I feel like we're just one big family, you know, and we're all buddies, but then we all don't know each other, you know.
Yeah.
Like if I saw Chris in Alabama and walking down the street, I was like, I wouldn't know who he is, you know. But that just made my day. And so way to go, Chris. I don't know if that was intentional. It just sounded like maybe you didn't know you were recording. Good thing you kept it safe, right? But yeah, it's just great to hear everybody, you know, in a slightly better mood. I tell you what, that's one thing I remember when I lived in Wisconsin, especially after the 97 Super Bowl, is that the next morning I remember going to work and like going in to get a coffee at a Quick Trip, and everyone just looked like they lost their puppy, you know. Everyone just looked like they were literally gonna leave what they're doing and go jump off a cliff. And so Packers do really control the happiness of the state of Wisconsin a lot. So, anyways, they go back go.
Someone is at the front door.
I'm very
Someone's
looking
at the
forward
front door,
to the
Nico.
weekend. The next 2 weekends, really. Well, the next 2 games, I think, could mean a lot and could change a lot. Could change our destiny, man. So, let's go, Pack, go! How do I turn this thing off here? Hang on a minute. Now I'm doing. Okay, there we go. Go back up.
Make Wisconsin happy again. That's what the Packers need to do. Make Wisconsin happy again.
Hey, Ryan. Hey, Ron from Eau Claire. You know what? I am as guilty as anybody of doing this, but because we've had so many good, you know, playoff level teams over the last 30 years or whatever, I think it's so easy for us as Packers fans to just look into the playoffs and look into the future and just forget that, like, it's also important to look into the regular season. Like, I feel like we have any level of adversity, and then it's just like, this is unacceptable. They're never going to make the playoffs. They can't beat anybody. They'll never get it together. And I think it's because, you know, you're used to getting to the playoffs, and you're just like, I just want to get beyond the playoffs.
Right.
And then you just get used to this sort of like...
Yeah, it's all just sort of been there, done that. Like, yeah, blah, 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 win a bunch of games, blah, blah. And it's just taking everything for granted, you know? Yeah. Okay, cool. 9-10 wins, great. Congratulations. Not even the best team in the regular season. Great. Okay, whatever. Anyways, next, you know, it kind of becomes that, and it's a very much a thief of joy.
Like the regular season shouldn't even be a thing.
Right.
And I feel like if we were like the Browns or something, like just getting like a winning record would be like super exciting. And here we are with like a pretty good record, and we're like not excited at all.
No.
We're just like, man, this sucks.
No, we're behind the Bears, and that's unacceptable to everybody.
Because we're just, I don't know, like we're just so... I feel like we think it should be easier than this or whatever. And, yeah, I just wanted to call in with that thought so I could sort of verbalize the reminder that, like, week to week is exciting football is being played that's meaningful to our team. And And, I mean, they're coming out with more wins than losses, and they beat some good teams. They beat the Lions.
Someone's at the front door.
Well, Washington doesn't look that good now, but they've hung tight in every single game, and so I don't know. I mean, I'm just as dissatisfied with some of the problems that the team has experienced as anybody else, but I'm also really, really enjoying watching the games because every week is a meaningful game. So, yeah, go Pack go. I'm really looking forward to watching this Vikings game, and if this goes as it has been going, J.J. McCarthy's going to look like Tom Brady, but I hope not. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, we would all be better off if we stopped assuming we were going to be as good as last year. This has been my number one complaint is we give ourselves the credit of being a very good team while not actually granting that to the team. You know what I mean? In other words, yeah, of course we're going to go to the playoffs, but that's not good enough. Excuse me. You can't say that and then not be grateful that your team going to the playoffs is not a big deal to you because it's such an obvious thing. You have to then start being grateful to your GM, your players, and your coach for being the team that can do that every year. But no, we ignore that and then just look beyond that. We would be so much better off if we would start from zero every year. I don't know if we're even going to be a good team this year. I don't know that. Well, we should be. No. You can't just be such a spoiled fan that the option of being a team that misses the playoffs is not even conceivable to you. I don't know that really hardly any fans, myself included, look at this and go, holy crap, I can't believe we're about to go to the playoffs again. Like, we might miss it, but rather than saying, holy crap, we might actually go to the playoffs, a lot of fans are looking at it from the other side and saying, holy crap, we might actually miss the playoffs. And again, if they do the good thing, so what? That's just the expectation. And if they don't do the good thing, then it's, wow, you are a uniquely giant piece of crap. No, that's not how that works, dude. And I'm getting really tired of this new thing, and I think it's just a cop-out for people that want to speak this way to justify why they do it. Well, we're Titletown. We have a higher level of expectation. Bull crap. That doesn't, first of all, that's just a stupid name. Who cares what the name is? It's a name that was given to us because of something that happened a long time ago. You know what else happened in the span between what happened a long time ago when we got the title of Titletown and now is a very long period of being dog crap. And you know what? We were still Titletown. But you know what? Those things are still possible. And it's not true that we have higher expectations. You think the Jets don't aspire to win a Super Bowl? Well, we have the trophy named after Lombardi. So what? How is that relevant? By the way, it was like 50 seconds away from being the Landry Trophy. Would that have changed things? Like, oh, I guess we don't care anymore, and now we're going to be so much more grateful because it's the Landry Trophy and not the Lombardi Trophy? It might not have been Landry. It might have been somebody else, but I feel like it was Landry when they were deciding what to call it. Was Landry even around at the time that they named it? It was a Dallas Cowboys guy, I think. I don't know. It's a silly thing to say. Just admit that you're spoiled and you have high expectations, although it's not higher than really anybody else, except for really, really bad teams, and they lower their expectations. Not that Super Bowl isn't the ultimate goal, but just because they're grateful when good things happen, and you're not. And that doesn't mean you're in some kind of special category. It just means you're spoiled. Can't believe we lost to the Browns. Why? Why is our team so wonderful and magical that they're not allowed to ever lose games, especially to teams with losing records? Why is that? That doesn't even make sense. And again, if they are that good in your mind, then why are you so angry all the time? Shouldn't you be very happy that you have a team that you just expect to beat everybody all the time? But yet at the same time, you're saying everybody should be fired and nobody's good enough? How do those things go together? They don't, is the answer. They don't go together. They don't fit. What you're really saying, although you refuse to actually say the words, is that we have a very, very good team, but I'm not sure if they're going to end up being good enough to be the best team when it comes time to win the Super Bowl. And that really just takes a lot of the sting out of it when you just phrase it that way, which of course the negative fans don't ever want to phrase it that way because it doesn't sound as terrible as I feel like it is in my brain. I want it to sound like the most catastrophic, disastrous, unacceptable thing in the world. And really it's just kind of a meh. It's a thing that you should actually be pretty happy about. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Howdy, this is Jared, the Uber driver from Texas. I figured I'd explain one of my last messages saying that, like, I took makeup off, and this was during the last loss, but, and we started doing better. Well, okay, so I have a 2-year-old daughter, and she has recently wanted to start doing our makeup. And, you know, it's some wild stuff, really wild stuff. Well, yeah, no, it's that was it. I'm glad you had a good little laugh off that. And, man, I think everyone's going to need a Ryan life alert or toilet alert button from now on. I think everybody, Packernet, needs one. Absolutely needs one. All right. Go Pack, go. Y'all have a good day.
Yeah, you did mention the makeup thing. I figured for anybody that didn't hear it or didn't remember, that sounded pretty bad. I actually have a similar, and this goes back to when my oldest was little. But the standing order is if the Packers win the Super Bowl, they will be able to paint my face and my nails. Because, of course, I'm willing to make any bargain if it means the Packers win the Super Bowl. But that is the standing order. My oldest, who came up with that, is probably no longer interested in that, but the younger girls would probably want to take over. And I am more than willing to tempt fate on that one and just be like, I don't care. You can make it all pink, and I will go parade around town in a pink dress and nails that are all painted pink in the middle of winter if it means the Packers win the Super Bowl. And I will be the happiest person doing it. I will do spins and twirls, and I will just do all kinds of stuff until I ultimately get arrested because it's weird and creepy. And that's fine. That's fine. Perfectly fine. And yes, I will be selling the I need help on the toilet life alerts at a Target near you.
Hey, Ryan. I wanted to maybe expand on something that Kyle from Madison brought up last Packernet After Dark regarding Willis and maybe developing some packages that use him in a way that's, I guess the best way to put it, to protect love. And the reason I'm saying that is he's taken some pretty good pops this season. And for the most part, he's been unscathed until this last game where he took a pretty good pop to the left shoulder. And I'm just thinking, I know as obvious it is, putting Willis in for love, especially, you know, if it's fourth and short. I still think just maybe to protect him a little bit, you have some packages that you throw Willis in there. Because now you don't have Kraft to run the tush push. So you got to get a little bit creative in a way to maybe have some new plays drawn up that Willis can do some short yardage stuff. Because he still can throw on the run. He can still do some end arounds. And it just, as unpopular as it may sound, like you don't ever want to bring love out of the game. Willis does bring some different things to the table, just a little bit. He brings a little different juice, I have to admit. So, I don't know. I think it's worth putting it on tape at the least. You know, bring him in the Vikings game where it's him and Love in the backfield. And just do it, you know, once, twice, or three times in a game. Put it on tape just so that, you know, the Bears have something they have to prepare for. So, I don't know. I just would like to see them introduce him into the game just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good to explore some of the benefits because, again, the blanket statement of you never want to take Jordan off the field, I don't know that that's necessarily true. As far as protecting him, I don't think we do a lot of designed runs for that reason. I think he's probably taken off on scrambles, which we can't really protect that. But that does bring up the question, are there situations where you would like to create a designed run, but you don't want to because of Jordan? In other words, you don't want to get him hurt. Not to say that Malik is just some guy that we don't care about that can go punish himself, but, you know, the answer to the question is yes. There are times when, boy, it would be cool if we could do a designed QB run here. And if you want to do that, Malik is the guy that you'd rather do that. Now, you don't want to make it too obvious where if he comes out, you know it's a designed run. Although, the Saints basically did that when what's-his-name came out. Pretty much knew he was going to run it. Not always. It was basically a trick play when he threw it. And Malik is a better passer and better runner than the guy I'm blanking on that I was upset that we got rid of. But yeah, like you said, I do think that there's reasons. I think that there are times when you want to do sneaks. I think there are times when you can stress a defense differently. You don't want him to obviously be your primary. We're talking maybe once or twice a game or something. But then also, like you said, and like I had mentioned before, putting it on tape is just going to stress a defense more where now you don't have a choice. You have to, somebody's at the front door.
Someone is at the front door.
Now you have to stress, the defense has to prepare for this player. And that just takes away time. And when they run their practices, now you got to have a quarterback that can run kind of like Malik in practice so that you can run those plays that the Packers run with Malik and try to practice defending it. And every play that you run that is a play that you're not preparing for your main playbook with the main quarterback who happens to be one of the best in football. Getting them to not prepare for that is massive. So I understand sort of the blanket statement of you never want to do this and that and the other. But again, I would just push back on that in that it's not never. It's usually.
Brian, I also wanted to just give my opinion regarding
Lord.
Luke
Someone is
Musgraves.
at the front door.
Get away from my house.
The guy has not had the amount of reps that people just kind of at face value look at and say, okay, this is his third year. He should be playing a lot better than this. He has missed significant time with injuries that he's had. And the amount of reps that he has missed out on has really, I think, stunted his growth. So I'm just really trying to encourage guys, don't give up on him. I think he's due for some breakout games. We know he can do it. It's just a matter of him putting it all together. And with him getting more and more snaps due to Kraft being out, he's going to have to. And if we're saying that he needs to be out there more, then that's saying, you know, that they're going to try to get him involved more. He does bring something different to the table. And I think just looking at the backup tight end that the Giants brought in, just absolutely annihilated us. Hodgkins or whatever. You know, and I look at that and I'm like, why can't Luke Musgrave do that? You know? And it's like, I think given time, he can become that. So, just saying, don't give up on him, guys. Don't give up on him. I'm out.
Well, the fan base is so freaking fickle. It's getting to be pathetic to the point where I don't even want to acknowledge it. The bottom line, I mean, and they're doing it with Rashawn Gary now too. The very first time people notice Rashawn had a bad day, immediately they come out, pretend he's always been bad, he's having a terrible year, and everything's awful. It was like 3 weeks ago, the guy led the NFL in sacks and was like our best performing pass rusher on the team. And I mean, it's if there's any downturn in a player, and it has been like 3 weeks with Rashawn, and it's not bad. He's at 11, 12% every week. He's never been below 10% as a pressure guy. He just doesn't also have any sacks. So the first time somebody noticed it, they're like, "Oh yeah, he's been a ghost. He's terrible. Oh, I thought Micah was going to unleash him. What happened to that? For 8 weeks, he's one of the best pass rushers in football. And then and the change could be anything. They might be changing things schematically to play the run more or whatever. We have no idea what's happening. But we know that Rashawn was elite. But as soon as like something happens, as soon as anybody has a bad day, and fans have been doing this more this year than I've ever noticed, the first time a guy has a bad day, they're garbage. Do you remember, what was it, against Philly? It was Philly or Carolina. Like 1 or 2 weeks prior, we were all in on Musgrave. Oh, man, this guy's going to be something special. Just imagine. Oh, he's going to He has one bad day, and I'm over it. I'm done. I can't do it. This guy's terrible. Blah, 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 blah. That was the final straw. Really, because 2 weeks ago, we're all in on him. And now we just forget that any of that stuff happened, and he had a bad day, and we're all out on him. Now, again, I'm not feeling super encouraged by Musgrave, because, I mean, he's never really been good, is my biggest concern. I know he's been out a ton, but, I mean, if we look at, let's see how many snaps he's played in 3 years. Maybe I'm being a little unfair including special teams in this, and I could take it out, but he's officially over 1,000 snaps he's played. If you're just looking at offense, it's about 900 snaps. And the last 2 years, his overall offensive grades have been 47 and 49. It's kind of appallingly bad. So I'm not trying to outright defend the guy because he hasn't been good. I'm so just over the overreactions this year. I'm just so freaking over it because it's becoming so predictable. As soon as anybody has a bad game, it's like, again, the first step is pretend he's been doing it all year and then just be done with them. I'm done with them. Everybody's been on a war path against Rashawn Gary this week because somebody noticed he didn't have any. It's been a while since he has sacks, and they're like, oh, this guy, I thought he's terrible. It's been 3 weeks since he's had a sack. It's unfortunate. The pressures are fine. They're not great, but it's, again, probably 11, 12% over the last 3 weeks. And there's an anomaly with a low sack number. And we're all just done with him. Oh, and his sack number's already quite high. So he can take a few weeks off and still end up with one of his highest sack numbers in his career. But this is what we're doing now. So, again, I don't know that Musgrave's ever going to become a lethal weapon for us. I'm becoming very skeptical of that. But everybody's massive reaction because of 2 really bad plays. And again, it was probably his best week ever as a blocker. He had a 71 pass blocking grade and a 72 run blocking grade. That is certainly his highest run blocking grade of the season. It was his second highest graded pass blocking game of the season. Easily his best overall blocking game of the season. But yeah, he completely fumbled, literally fumbled his opportunity here as a receiver. But it was also his worst receiving game of his career. And what's annoying is, this upcoming week, Musgrave's going to catch a 30-yard pass, and everybody's going to be all in on Luke Musgrave, and it's like, okay, we're swinging too hard the other way now. It's just the whole thing is so stupid and obnoxious. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back with some Omar.
What's going on? So, Omar the Firefighter, how y'all doing?
What's up?
Hey, just calling on 2 things. One, I know a lot of people call about, or you even heard you talk about that people complain about we're passing too much or we're running too much or like different things. At the end of the day, it's all about execution.
Right.
So if we ran the ball every play, if we execute it correctly like we're supposed to, then we good. Same with pass. If you run the route like you're supposed to, you get open, you do this, you block, so Jordan got time. It really doesn't matter. It's all on execution. That's one. 2 is that's the coach's job is to make sure he calls the plays that his team can run.
Yep.
And make sure they practice to show that they can do that. And again, I'm a LaFleur fan, so I'm gonna have his back on a lot. I do think he's a little soft, a little bit, but it's more like a gadgety kind of guy. Like you got the muscle guy on you. It feels like the A-team. Like you got the big, strong guy who's rough and tough. That'd be like the Lions coach. You know what I'm saying? Scream, yell, get in your face, whatever. Then you got LaFleur, like the scientist. He's weak, but he can work some stuff together and make it, make a big explosion. So I'm a fan. I think if we lose him, our offense will take a way step back. We just got to get some better execution, either by getting better players to execute or just have the players we have freaking do their job. That's basically it. My other topic was give me. I know it's early, but this is a draft question. So I said, give me like 3 positions that you feel we should take. I know we're going to go best player available, but just give me 3 positions that you feel like we should improve in the draft, and then give me like 3 players, or give me 3 players to look at that position. So I'll say one. I'll say center. I think if we grab a center and move Elton to guard, even either side guard will improve that way. Not saying he did a bad job at center, but we just need to get a new center in the way. Get somebody nice, young, strong up in there and doing the thing. Then defensive tackle. And after that, it's the toss-up. I guess cornerback as well, just because I don't know if we got a lot of depth there. But anyway, go. Give me your top 3 for those positions.
All right. Well, the position will probably be easier than the prospect, but I'll do my best. Offensive line is the biggest. I could cheat and do multiple positions on the offensive line, I suppose. But I'll start with this. And again, I don't know where these guys are going to end up, but Kobe Baines is a guard out of Kansas. He's played exclusively right guard. I know the Packers don't usually like that, but I don't know that a specialist at a position of need is going to be a terrible thing. We need a right guard. 100% we need that. Kobe Baines is a right guard out of Kansas. Been there for a little while. 4 years at Kansas. He was at Louisville before that. So he's not going to be super young, but he's been a good pass blocker for 3 straight years, and his run blocking has gotten better every single year. The last 4 years that the last 3 years that he's kind of started-ish, 62, 69, and 72 are his run blocking grades, so it's just gone up, including this year. Pass blocking, 77, 78, 76, so just staying right in that range. Good pass blocker that can run block at a position of need like right guard. As our first pick in the 2nd round, I'm all about that. Next biggest thing that I think we need is some help on the defensive line. I would absolutely, again, tentatively, we got a lot more work on this to do, but as first pick in the 2nd round, seemingly very, very good option is Kristen Miller, defensive tackle out of Georgia. I know, another defensive tackle out of Georgia, but the main thing here is that he's a run defender. He's 6'4", 310, so he's not like a 335-pound guy that's just useless and can't move, but this dude is a run defender. His pass rush grades have been 66, 71, and 70, so not terrible, but he's not a pass rusher. His run defense grades the last 2 years have been 84 and 87. Now, this is one of those, like, do you really want to take this very, very seriously, the run defense thing? Because taking a guy that is really not a pass rusher this early is one of those, some teams would do it, some teams I don't think will, and the Packers are kind of one of those, I don't know if they would do that. Assuming they agree, let's assume they agree that this guy is probably just not a pass rusher. Would they do it? Probably not, but, if you put a guy like this next to Wyatt, another Georgia guy, you got all your pass rushers, we just need one anchor. I think this is a very interesting and intriguing option as a run defender. And then finally, I'll go corner, even though I don't think it's as big of a need as maybe we thought initially that it was. But again, I'll kind of look at that 2nd round. I'm trying not to be too generous to the Packers looking at early 2nd round guys, but it is what it is. Corner, there's a ton of them though, so I can be a little bit more specific. Just glancing at the options, and there again, there's a lot of them. I'm intrigued by Chris Johnson of San Diego State. Now, you could argue that maybe because, compared to like Igbinosun of Ohio State, who has a tougher schedule, maybe he's being benefited by that. But I don't know that these are terrible teams. And he is having himself a big breakout season. And breakout seasons are also always scary because they could certainly come back down to earth. But this is a guy that's always been good, and this year is great. So 6 foot 195 is what he's listed at, which is perfectly fine. He's not an undersized guy. He's not a massive guy, but that's plenty of size. That's standard corner size. I don't know what you're getting as far as speed. I could look into that, but again, we won't spend as much as I'd like to. It's me, you, and 4 other people that want to hear any of this. His first 3 years at San Diego State, he graded out as his coverage grade, and by the way, run defense and tackling, elite. I mean, not literally. Oh, this year it's pretty close, but not literally, but he's very good. Very good at those things. But his coverage grade, 74, 70, 72, and this year, 92. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games, he's given up just 185 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 4 pass breakups, 28.3 passer rating when targeted. He also has rushed the passer 8 times and got 4 pressures on that and has an 85 pass rush grade. So everything he's doing is succeeding. His run defense grades the last 3 years have been 83, 76, and 78. He's very good at that. His tackling grades for 4 years, even though year 1 was just a few opportunities, but I don't care, 80, 83, 83, 85. So he's 6 foot 200-ish, really good tackler, real solid against the run, and has always been good in coverage, is exploding in coverage. Now, again, it's college, so it's always very different. I think a lot of times we look at this and say it's a no-brainer, he's elite. This is kind of just a first step. This is a data point. There's so much that goes into projecting guys into the NFL, but it's not a bad start when you have numbers like this. So that would be sort of the first guy I'd look at. And, I know we have Hobbs, who we paid. I know we have Nixon and Valentine and Bullard. I like Bullard. I think it's starting to work, so I would kind of like to lock that in. I like Valentine. I'd kind of like to lock that in. I know the Packers love Hobbs or the Packers paid Hobbs and love Nixon. But, if this guy pans out and is fantastic, I would not have a problem with, Chris Johnson, Valentine, Bullard in the slot as our primary group. And Keyshawn can be a backup / kick returner or punt returner. I like Savion as our kick returner. But that would be my thought. Come on.
It was going on. I'm calling back again just to shout out everybody listening. Love the Packernet family. Love everybody in it, and I just enjoy, again, the calls. I want to give a special shout out to somebody who made me laugh ridiculously, and that's Chris from Alabama, man. Like, the fact that he was on the phone and he forgot he was on the phone, like he called and then he was watching the game, he completely forgot. Because midway through, I was like, oh, wow, he's saying a whole lot in this call. And then I was like, man, what if he forgot he called, like he on the phone? Then he said, oh, man, I forgot I was on the phone. I was laughing my ass off because you just hear him cussing and talking to other people. It was hilarious. So thank you for that. That was very funny. I always love it when we got, like, lapses like that or outside people joining in. It's just hilarious. I enjoy it. Anyway, go Pack, go. And I do say that to other Packer fans when they say it to me. I think you asked that question a while ago, so I do say it back. I don't just look at them like this food. So I have a funny story, though. Somebody, they caught me in a very good mood. And somebody probably did this, was listening to the show. I don't know. But when I went to the Packers game, right, again, got me in a good mood. We went to the bathroom, all right, and I know you're like, where the hell is this story going? So I went to the bathroom. I got my jacket on. And I think by me having my jacket on, it also gave me a sense of calm and relief. But long line, people waiting. So I'm basically trying to get into this, to go pee at the stall or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
And the guy finishes peeing, so I'm like, all right, I'm about to go up there.
This is awful.
He moved out the way.
Yeah.
I'm about to go up there. And then he said, go Pack, go to me, and he immediately touches my arm.
Aye.
Like my, and I'm like, what the F? Like, I would have punched him, but I had my jacket on, so he touched my jacket.
Yeah.
But I still thought that was nasty as hell. I was like, you didn't even wash your hands, man. You literally just went from touching your Johnson to touching my arm, and I don't play that. So he got me I don't know, God made me think of something positive before I went in there or something. But 9 out of 10 times, you would have got punched in the face. that particular reason, I don't know. I don't know if I was more shocked that he did that. Cause he was like, go Pack, go. And I was like, go Pack, what the hell? And he just touched I'm like, so I don't know. Any guys, if you're listening, please don't do that. Go Pack, go.
Yeah, we got to draw the line somewhere, man. It is kind of funny to think, like he's obviously not thinking as he did. I don't know why you would. I mean, just don't touch other guys in general. Whether you know them or not, but unless you're just like giving them a high five if you know them. But like if you don't know somebody, especially in the bathroom, I don't care if you just washed your hands. Don't touch me. Don't touch me ever. As a dude, especially. Don't touch me in the bathroom. That's freaking weird. And if you just got out of the stall and you're going around grabbing people, but it is funny to think, he's just a friendly guy that happens to be a little touchy-feely, I guess, or whatever. Imagine, like, trying to be nice and just, like, seeing a guy and be like, hey, go Pack, go, buddy. And the next thing you know, you're on the ground, just staring up like, why did he hit me? I wanted to be his friend, and I said, go Pack, go. Oh, that's crazy. That's gross. But I guess I'm glad you shared that, because that is a good PSA for everybody out there. If you are, for some reason, a more touchy-feely person, first of all, stop doing it. Just, I don't know what it is with you that makes you want to touch people, but stop it. Like if you just meet somebody, it's like a handshake and not in the bathroom. Like, hey, how you doing, man? How you doing, sir? Nice to meet you. So, I'm trying to visualize that. Like that's a really weird thing to do to somebody, because it's cramped in the bathroom. It's close proximity. Your hands are nasty. You have to be cognizant of that. I just can't imagine, even if I like had just washed my hands or like was the cleanest person on earth, I can't imagine. Like it's kind of uncomfortable enough just being like, hey, go Pack, go, because you don't know what's going to happen. Like, what's that person going to do? You're kind of putting yourself out there a little bit. I can't imagine going up to a stranger and grabbing their arm and being like, go Pack, go. Like, I don't care if it's a bathroom or not. You might need to get punched for that. You're definitely not getting a go Pack, go back and something like that. It's like, all right, dude. Okay. Yep. You got it, man. The heck is wrong with you? Don't go touching people. All right. It's freaking weird. Maybe if you're an old person, you can kind of get away with that. Again, not in the bathroom, but old people, it's like, oh, all right. That's fine. Grandpa wants to come over and give me like a, little pat on the shoulder. Like, I get it. That's grandpa behavior. That's acceptable. But you better be like having a hard time walking and have all gray hair. If your back isn't starting to arch, a little hunched over, shuffling your feet, you're not old enough for that yet. Don't touch me. Shouldn't have to tell other guys. Like, how do you get through life this long not realizing you shouldn't? It's because see, and this is where maybe you're wrong, Omar. Because you didn't hit him, he's just going to keep going around touching people. It's not a malicious thing. It's just instruction. It's how guys teach each other things. Don't do that. Now we're good. I'm not mad at you. Just, I'm a little mad, but now It's like touching a stove. You're never going to do that again. And that's the point. And now we're good, right? It's freaking weird, man. Are you sure you weren't on camera? I don't think you're allowed to record in bathrooms, but it sounds like one of those candid camera skits that people do when they're going around trying to be famous on YouTube by being massively obnoxious. I hate that crap, by the way. Like, I'm going to do stuff that like pushes people to the point where they should hit me. Most of them won't, because they're just not that kind of person. They're going to walk away or just kind of like say something and walk away or whatever, but they take advantage of people's friendliness. I hate that crap. And there's nothing better than when somebody actually does something about it. It's like, good, you freaking deserve that. But the worst is when you got like that jagoff that just got arrested that looks like J.J. McCarthy, a little fat-faced loser, whatever his name is. That guy who hired, and a lot of these guys do, they hire these security guards so they can go around and be obnoxious, and then security stops anybody from doing anything. Look, if you're going to do it, at least be ready to take the consequences. Did you guys see, by the way, that one guy that got shot? One of those guys got shot, like right in the stomach. And that is sort of a friggin' wake-up call to knock that off. They were like harassing a guy. And you could tell he was like a socially awkward guy. I think he was doing food delivery. And I forgot what he was doing, but he kept like getting in his face and like trying to do stuff. And he's like, get away from me, get away from me. And the guy freaked out, pulled a gun and shot him in the stomach. He's fine. That's why I'm laughing about it. But I should check on that, see if he's still doing it. I hope he's not, because this is one of those things you got to learn from. Like, you know what? Maybe I took it too far and I shouldn't do that anymore because I don't want to get shot anymore. Perfect. Now you know. Boy. It's also one of those areas where I think we're kind of You guys can leave now if you want. Have a good day. We're kind of done talking Packers now. I'm just going off here. You are dismissed. We're just staying after class. It's one area where I think we're kind of over-policed a bit. I don't know how far back you have to go, 70s or whatever, when things were a little bit different, but there used to be a time when if there were issues, you could just go outside and handle it. Or if somebody's being an idiot, you can just pop them in the face, and like you're not getting arrested for that. Now you get arrested for that. Well, you know, we got to follow everything by the exact letter of the law, and you can't put your hands on people. Like, bro, it's settled. This person was obnoxious. They got hit in the face. Like, I'm not kicking them on the ground and stomping them out or anything like freaking psycho people do these days. This guy overstepped their bounds, got handled a little bit, and now we're good. I would just wish, I'm sure there's places in America where this is the case, but for the most part, the police are going to show up and do an investigation and a report, and they're going to find that, you know, the person hit the other person, and so now they're going to get arrested, and it's like, this is stupid. Sometimes just let people handle stuff, all right? Just leave it alone. It's kind of like that whole street beefs thing. That I don't know if that was specifically it or if it was a different one. I saw a documentary about it, but it was like in, you know, a really bad neighborhood where people are shooting each other, and they said, how about we create an environment where people that have a beef come here and they get into a fist fight, and then you shake hands and it's over. That's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Shouldn't be saying, oh, they shouldn't be fighting each other. No, screw that. Let people handle their differences. I don't know. Got to not only be ready to hit somebody and be hit back, but you got to be ready to go to jail for teaching somebody a lesson, which I think is stupid. Anywho, I'm going to leave it at that. Y'all have a good rest of your night. I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Minding my own when some cheesehead lunatic enters the zone. Before he washes, before the soap hits his skin, he slaps my shoulder screaming, we're gonna win. No, 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 this ain't the place. Get your dirty hands out of my personal space. Hey, don't say go pack, go in the bad room. Don't touch me there. Wash your hands before you this ain't a game. There's a time and place for Packers pride, but not when I'm occupied inside. Keep your hands to yourself. Brett Favre couldn't save you from this situation. Aaron Rodgers won't excuse this violation. I don't care if we just won the Super Bowl. There's basic hygiene and boundary control. Jordan Love can't love you through this crime. You've crossed the line for the very last time. No! Don't say go pack, go in the bad room. Wash first, break until your hands are actually clean. 20 seconds soap. Self-defense is justified, my friend, when bathroom etiquette comes to an end. I warned you once. I warned you once.
Look, I bleed green and gold. I got a cheesehead season tickets, the whole 9. But even Lambeau Field has standards, and if you can't respect the sanctity of the men's room protocol,